White Dudes for Harris, raising $4 million for the Harris campaign. White dudes say they apparently have a lot of money. Watch this.
Tonight, tens of thousands of self-proclaimed white dudes for Harris joined a Zoom call to rally support for her. It even featured a cameo from the dude himself.
I accepted the invitation. I was brought to the party not so much as being white, and I certainly am, but because I'm a dude, So a friend sent me this email today with your hat on there. And I said, oh, I got to have one of those. I qualify, man. I'm white, I'm a dude, and I'm for Harris. Kamala is just so certainly our girl, I can see her being president. I'm so excited. A woman president, man. How exciting.
We didn't pick the name. They did. Others embracing it. That was Jeff Bridges, the Hollywood star, who says, yeah, I love it. I wanted to be on the call, and I am one of those white dudes. So per NBC News, famous white dudes, including the actor Jeff Bridges, who played the dude, rallied in support of Vice President Kamala Harris, who, if elected, would be the first female president in the inaugural event of a new group called White Dudes for Harris's Monday night. The star-studded Zoom call attracted more than 180,000 participants and raised almost $4 million, according to organizers, who are themselves a group of white dude Democratic political operatives. The names are catchy. The money is long, folks.
With millions watching and many people benefiting from this program called Indisputable, we just need 1% of the viewers to become a paid member so we can continue to bring this content to you. Now back to the show.
Let's give you more on this. Over the nearly 3.5-hour call, they said they sold more than 5,700 White Dudes for Harris trucker caps. Not the pointy ones, joked Ross Morales. Raquetto, you get it? Not the pointy ones. I think we know. One of the organizers referring to less PC gatherings of white dudes like the KKK. Throughout American history, when white men organized, it was often with pointy hats on, said Raquetto, before he added how proud he was of the group of white men who he said are too rarely heard from. I would like one of those trucker caps. I don't know how I could get one. We'll ask Doc when he joins the call. If anybody can get us one, he can, right? I just want to put it up on my shelf with the other things to kind of memorialize this occasion, this momentous occasion. There's more. Bridges, who played the dude in the cult classic The Big Lebowski, was excited when he heard about the gathering of his fellow white dudes. I qualify, man. I'm white, I'm a dude, and I'm for Harris, Bridges said. A woman president, man. How exciting. I didn't even bother to try to talk like him. I can't do that accent, not quite. Guests included several of the white dudes Harris is considering to be her vice presidential running mate, including the Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, and North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper, who has since announced he is withdrawing from consideration. He did that actually moments before that call began. The vibes are incredible, Buttigieg said. Again, NBC News filling in the details for us. Now, Walz, who has shot up the charts of progressives' favorite white dudes in recent days, as he has made the rounds on TV, said, you know what? He's thrilled by the idea of Harris beating former President Donald Trump. Make that bastard wake up afterwards and know that a black woman kicked his bloop and sent him on the road. And that's something that guy's going to have to live with the rest of his life, Walt said, hopefully in prison. Okay, I added that. That was not part of the quote. Trying to behave. In a world where representation matters, the white dude showed up in force. There were white dude singers like Josh Groban, Lance Bass, white dude actors like Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Mark Hamill, Josh Gad, Paul Scheer, and Sean Astin. And their white dude boss, director, and Hollywood executive, J.J. Abrams. So this is perhaps a cookout we wouldn't mind going to if, it's these white dudes. And again, no pointy hats, nothing to fear here. Well, almost nothing. There was also plenty of white dudes from the world of Democratic politics, like White House infrastructure czar Mitch Landrieu, Representative Adam Schiff of California, former Senator Doug Jones of Alabama, Representative Steny Hoyer of Maryland, who pledged a $50,000 donation match. What a variety of whiteness we have here, said actor Bradley Whitford of West Wing fame. It's like a rainbow of beige. Yeah, and that's a good point because we're not all like just this flat, static color. That's not who we are. Come in a variety of shades. I'm caramel, okay, or maybe a cafe latte. Doc is an espresso with extra cream. Does that make sense? Is that something that we would order at Starbucks? I don't know. I don't really go to Starbucks too much anyway. There is more about this historic call. Again, $4 million these white dudes raised. The white dudes' call came after similar calls targeted toward Black women and white women held in recent weeks. There were lots of self-deprecating jokes about the gathering Monday night, as well as opening remarks from a Black man, Working Families Party National Director Maurice Mitchell, who helped reassure any uncomfortable participants that it's okay to be here, okay? Some people concerned. Is this a good look? Do I want to be on the call with so much whiteness, a sea of whiteness? Yes, in this instance, it's okay. NBC News, again, with some of the other details for us, but for all the jokes, the men also spoke candidly and movingly about their conflicted feelings about masculinity, how difficult it can be to open up emotionally, and how they feel alienated from other white men who are the core of Trump's support. Black women have been showing up to vote for progressive white dudes for generations, and it's time we show up for them, said Broadway actor Rory O'Malley, who originated the role of Elder McKinney in the Book of Mormon. So the white dudes on this call taking responsibility, chronicling some of America's history and giving kudos to Black women who have saved the country time and time again, saying, you know what, we can do more. We are going to do more. We'll see if it lasts. Some said they felt a rare sense of community and catharsis in the event. White guys are really tired of the endless parade of weird MAGA Republicans trying to bend our democracy to its breaking point. Brad Bowman, a longtime Democratic communications consultant who helped organize the call, told NBC News. They think they get us, but they don't, Bowman added. And honestly, their dark vision for our future is just holding all of us back. That's why we decided to start White Dudes for Harris. The next rally is Latino Men for Kamala, with George Lopez and other special guests organizing the call. This is going to be a great one and probably funny too. We're waiting on Doc, but I have some thoughts when I saw this. In the first 5 minutes, they met their goal. I believe the reporting was $1.3 million. And again, they more than tripled it, right? $4 million. And took turns saying, look, this is what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to show up for one another. I mean, this is something that has to make the Trump campaign increasingly fearful, even though he won't admit it and won't debate Kamala. Increasingly fearful because you don't just have, and I don't want to say just, because again, Black women and men have saved democracy and the country time and time again and built the country. But to have this coalition now getting along. Remember what the MAGA movement is doing and was born out of. Sowing discord, having people who aren't getting their fair piece of the pie look down upon one another instead of banding together. That's what they did, drive division. So nobody's watching when we pick their pockets, like Lyndon Johnson said. Have them look down on each other, and then we can steal everything, and nobody will be paying attention to us, and perhaps what some would call some high crimes, okay? That's what's been going on. So the Trump administration has got to be fearful, and indeed, unless I'm missing something, and maybe you can enlighten us in the comments, I don't know that they've come up with a solution for this. What's your strategy here? You've called her giggly, okay? You said she's DEI, and she's just, the checks are rolling in. They're rolling in despite the name calling. In fact, she seems unbothered, and take it or leave it. Call her whatever you want, but you might soon call her Madam President. That's where we are. And when George Lopez and special guests get together, not only will it be funny, but more money is going to be raised. So you have these coalitions, Latinas, blacks, where are my blacks? White women, white dudes. What does MAGA have? Despite the signs that we see in some of the rallies and Trump saying, where are my blacks? There's my black. They don't have that, okay? They've got a couple of people making faces behind him. I'd like to believe, I'm not saying they are, this is my personal opinion, don't come after the network. I'd like to believe that many of them are actors, or at least paid for this, because I'm a black person and black people don't know all other black people, but we know other black people, if you know what I mean. I've not run into one person who's blacks for Trump, okay? Not one person. And I do go out sometimes. I'm on social media. Nobody's reached out and said, Sharon, you're wrong. I am blacks for Trump, okay? So you have here a complete whitewash, okay, on the right. And on the left, and maybe it's just window dressing for now. I get it. This isn't solving everything. This isn't solving Gaza. This isn't solving economic disparity, folks. I get it. But over here, you have, I think I want to party with them, okay? We can have fun. We can get to know one another. Here, it's weird. Weird. I had to catch up on the news cycle last night. I was wondering, why are they just going with this weird thing? It's weird.